No, sir.
Today we'll discuss the delta modulation. So, when we discuss about the delta means your differential pulse code modulation or pulse code modulation. So we have seen something which is that in pulse code modulation, two type of quantization we was doing, and most of the case either in PCM or DPCM, most of the case when we encoded a signal in the quantizer, so multiple number of bits was there, so that when we want to think for the communication, that means when we consider any system which is suitable for the communication, we need to see two things: the how the system is, how much complex the system is, and second thing is the bandwidth requirement. So now if we make a trade-off between these two terms, the complexity and bandwidth, for the PCM and DPCM, that we can say the complexity bandwidth trade-off. That means complexity will increase while the bandwidth will increase as well. Similar for your PCM also, but in the delta modulation, what we are doing, we are just considering the equalizer such that the number of bits that will be transmitted, it will reduce, and it can be, if we want to find out the relation between the complexity and bandwidth, then for the delta modulation we can say the it is exploiting the bandwidth and complexity trade-off. Okay, so now how we get the delta modulation? For the delta modulation, we need to do the oversampling. So when we discuss about the PCM and DPCM, we have seen that if we do the sampling just as the rate of the Nyquist criteria, we can recover or reconstruct the signal from that sampled value. Okay, but in the delta modulation, what we are doing, that we are oversampling the signal. So now, when I discuss about the DPCM, that time we have seen that, or I told that there is a relationship or correlation between two adjacent samples. So definitely, if we oversample the signal, in that case, the correlation will be more between two consecutive samples, yeah or no, or adjacent samples. So the correlation between two adjacent sample will increase when we are doing the oversampling. So in the delta modulation, what we are doing? We are doing the sampling the signal in the oversampled is more than the two times or Nyquist criteria. So we are doing the oversampling. So basically now in delta modulation transmitter, so now we'll discuss about the transmitter. So this is the basic thing in the delta modulation, that it is a bandwidth and complexity trade-off. Okay, and second thing is that we are doing the oversample the signal. So in the delta modulation transmitter, system complexity is reduced to the minimize the possibility by using two combination strategy. One is the single bit quantizer, second one is the single unit delay element. So what is the meaning of the single bit quantizer? Single bit quantizer, in which the means the that quantizer is the simplest quantizing strategy that used for quantization. So in the single bit quantization, we are only using one bit to represent a value. So that means how many, if there is only one bit, so how many level will be there when we do quantization level? if on a level is represented by the single bits, then how many level is there?
Set 2.
Two level will be there. So basically there will be two level. So that means we are in the single bit quantizer. We are taking the decision based on the two value, and that two decision level is namely we denoted by the plus delta minus delta, plus minus delta. Okay. So in single delay element, now if you see that figure, so this is the if you recall the figure of your spectrum is the DPCM. So in the DPCM, you just see what is there in the transmitter. There is a quantizer, sampled signal is there. There quantizer, encoder, adder, and linear predictor. So in this figure, so we can achieve the delta modulation by modifying this transmitter circuit. So what is the thing we are doing? In two places, we are doing the correction. One is the instant of that quantizer over here. We will put the single bit quantizer, and in instant of linear predictor, what we will do, we will take the single bit predictor. So that's why the single bit predictor, single delay unit. So most the primitive form of the predictor. So this is the lowest form of the predictor, and normally in the FIR filter already I discussed. So fondant block just labeled by the single jeton means there is only one unit of delay is there, and which act as a accumulator. Okay. So now see that figure. If we, as I told, when we compared with the DPCM transmitter, so the sample value is there, then summation, then on-bit quantizer, encoder, then there is a summation, basically feedback, and the what was the linear predictor over there in the DPCM, we replaced by the single by Z with your 1 minus 1, that is 1 by Z, and it is basically represent the unit delay elements. Okay. So this whole thing, this box, it's work as a accumulator. Okay. So now if we want to represent the value of E, so what is the value of E? In the DPCM system, we have seen En, that's equal to Mn minus Mn cap. Okay. So Mn minus Mn cap, this is there. Now in delta modulation, what is the value of Mn cap? Mn cap is equal to Mq comma N minus 1. Okay. So this is the value for the Mn bar for the delta modulation. So basically in this figure, what we are trying to do, the how the system complexity and bandwidth are related, and we are saying showing this figure is basically showing the trade-off which I just discussed earlier. So if we go for the complexity, DM is the lowest complexity. Standard PCM the complexity is little more, and if you go for the DPCM the complexity more again. Okay, and the bandwidth, definitely the bandwidth, transition bandwidth is less for the DPCM, and for the delta is more. Okay, so basically this is the figure between the complexity and bandwidth trade-off. Okay, now come to this equation. So that means what is the value of MQ comma N minus 1 that we need to find. Okay, so basically what is the En? So En can be written, or EQN, sorry, this value. Already we calculate the En value. So how to calculate the EQ comma N? Okay, so EQ comma N, it will give us either plus delta or minus delta because we are doing the 1-bit quantizer. Okay. So now, if the value of En is positive, then we will consider that bit 1 is transmitting. That means EQN equal to plus delta and which is equal to 1. Okay. If the value of En is negative, then it will be considered as a 0. The value basically that EQ comma N, it will be considered as a minus delta and corresponding encoding value will be equal to 0. Is that clear? This portion. Okay, so no doubt there. So that means we are representing the EQ comma N that's equal to delta sigma En. So whatever the value of sign over there, EQ, it will take over there. If it is positive, then it is positive delta. If it is negative, then it will be the negative delta, as I told. Okay, so that means we can write MQ comma N that's equal to MQ comma N minus 1 plus EQ comma N from the figure. What is the value of this? MQ comma N, the MQ comma N equal to MQ comma N minus 1 plus EQ comma N, this value. So now, Acha, just tell me one thing. From this expression, we have considered the EQN equal to either plus delta or minus delta. So plus delta, as I told, when En value is positive, then it will be the plus delta. So what is the physical meaning of the N value is positive? Anyone? What is the physical meaning of that? En is positive and En is negative. So in terms of the signal, that means the sampled value. So basically, if we look at that expression En, so En equal to Mn comma Mq comma N minus 1. That means it is the current sample value and it is the previous sample value. So if the current sample value is higher than the previous sample value, then only En will be the positive. So that means we can say in that case, when En value is positive, it's indicating the signal magnitude is increasing. Yes or no? When the En value is negative, it indicates the slope is going down. That means the value, sampled value is decreasing. Okay. So now according to these two equation, we can approximate, I already told the symbols 0 and 1 when this value, decoded value, basically when this value equal to plus delta, then I told it is 1, this bit will be considered as one symbol. When it is negative, then it will be considered as a 0. Okay. Basically, as I told, there is a, when we are doing this quantization of single bit, that means in that case, we can say the delta modulator produces a staircase approximation of the message signal. Okay. So, and how it's look like this. So one signal is there. So one sampled over there, then this sampled. So this value is decreased. So now you see there is one example case is there for the delta modulation. Okay. So now at the initially we consider that 0 is there. First some value is there. Now in the second sample value it is decreasing. That means it will be 0. The output binary sequence of the modulator. Okay, so it will be 0. Again it is decreasing. It is decreasing means the En value will be less than 0. Okay, that means it will sending 0. So in this point again it is increasing. In this point it is increasing. Okay, so it is 1. Again it is decreasing 0, increasing 1, again increasing. So in that pattern, you can find out what is the bits over there. It will increase and decrease like that. Okay. So corresponding value we can get, and the staircase we will get the staircase value the is approximately it is indicating the m q comma n. And what is the step size over there? The step size is basically your delta. And what is the beat duration or the pulse width? The duration. What is the value of that duration? That duration equal to Ts. What is the Ts? Ts is the sampling period. Okay. Okay. So now we'll discuss about the receiver. So if we look at the receiver circuit diagram, so this is the basically receiver circuit diagram, and it is similar to the DPCM circuit diagram receiver. Only the change is there over here. So in the DPCM receiver, there was a linear predictor. So we replace the linear predictor, and little bit difference is there. So we are replacing the linear detector predictor, and on addition thing we are doing along with the DPCM receiver, that we are putting a low pass filter. Okay, so if we put the low pass filter, then we will be get the message signal. So this is the circuit diagram for the receiver, delta modulation receiver. Hello, is there any doubt?
Sir, you said that you put a low pass filter.
Hmm.
Is there any reason, specific reason why you put low pass?
The putting the spacer, a low pass filter is that you see there will be a different frequency component, because when you are doing this thing and only one bit we are using, so basically that's why we put the low pass filter over there, so that we can get back the original signal. Because there are different type of only when you see we are sending is it will receive some value of 0 and 1 sequence at the receiver in the decoder. So based on the 0 and 1, it will decide it is a plus delta or minus delta, then it will go there. Okay, so basically when it is summing with the previous sampled value, so basically from this feedback, what we will get, we are getting the previous signal value, okay, or previous sampled value. So previous sampled value either positive or plus delta or minus delta we will get over here. So the summation will give the current sampled value, but in the along with the current sample value, there may be some side lobes or some noise is there. Because in this case, definitely there is a possibility of some noise. That's why we are sending through a low pass filter, so that all the higher component frequency is blocked. To basically to block the higher frequency component. Okay. Okay. So now we'll similar to your PCM or DPCM, everywhere there is a error, and when we are doing the quantization in the DM, also we are doing the quantization. That means there will be a quantization error. So basically in this DM, there are two types of quantization error. One is the slope overlap distortion, and second one is the granular noise. Okay, so now let's see basically from this equation. So basically from this equation we can find out what should be the quantization error. So basically when we getting the MQ comma N, that can be written MQ plus QN. Okay, and that denotes the quantization error. The QN is the basically denoting the quantization error. Okay. So basically the whatever the error, so that is the previous current sample value minus the previous sample value. Error value, the en value equal to mn minus the previous value. So if we do the expression that if we replace the value over there, previous expression, we'll get that eq value. So now just see in this figure, what are these two type of slope overload distortion and what is the granular noise. Okay, so now if we consider a system, or when we talk about previous figure, when we consider a signal which is equal to our, means it will look like a sinusoidal signal. That means it is every step there is a constant increment. So in that case, normal delta modulation is good. But in some application, it may happen that amplitude value is increased suddenly. It is increasing. So basically, what will happen in that case? So sample value is more, but whatever the staircase will get, that value will be low. So this is basically when we are getting the application, because you see when we are comparing current sample value with the previous sample value, definitely that value is should be greater than equal to 0, greater than 0. Okay, so now the greater than 0, it doesn't mean they are within a limit of delta. It could be 4 times of delta. So it is there is no higher limit of the what should be the difference when we discuss about the delta value. So that is when we are doing this delta value is constant. So definitely we'll get the value. It is increasing the sample. I mean the signal is increasing. Then we'll get 1 as a output. So now if we plot in that staircase format, so we'll get a signal like this. So now if we look at that portion, shadow portion in this figure, so basically this portion when we want to recover the signal from this staircase, so we lost that portion. And that portion is called the slope overload distortion. Because suddenly the slope is increasing, that's why it is called the slope overlap distortion. Okay, is that clear? What is the slope overlap distortion? Okay, and next one is the granular noise. In the granular noise, you see the value equal to over this time period, the value is constant. Okay, so in this point, there is some value is there. Again, it is decreasing over there. So now what will happen? There will be, it should goes to 0 level because this sample and this sample, there is a no difference. All the value are same. But since there is a delta amplitude of high is there, so there will be a little bit of noise will be there. And that noise is called the your granular noise. And when we are getting the granular noise, when the step size delta is too large relative to the local slope characteristics, that time we are getting this granular noise. And when we are getting the slope overlap distortion noise, when the step size delta is too small compared to the local slope characteristics. Yes. Any doubt? Okay. So now the things, this is the expression we are considering to the what should be the reason of the maximizing the slope value. So how to find out a slope for a signal? If we take the derivative and if we consider the maximum value. Okay. So basically that will give us the delta by Ts. It should be greater than equal to max of max mod of dmt by dt. So it is the increase the first sequence of the message signal mn with the maximum slope of mt. Okay, so this is the condition for this. So now, how to remove this noise? Is there any way to remove that noise which is present in the delta modulation? Anyone?
Or increase delta.
In presence of
Increasing delta.
increasing the delta. Okay. So now you see in this sample, if we increase the delta value, there is a possibility, okay, the slope overload distortion may be overcome, but when the signal value is constant, that time the granular noise value will increase because we are increase the step size, and whatever the granular noise, it is depending on the step size. If we increase the delta value is too large, okay. So there is a one
Decreasing TS.
decreasing
TS.
decreasing TS. That's true. By decreasing the TS, we can do the little bit, but in that case, when we reducing the TS, that means the sampling rate we are increasing. And already when at the beginning of the delta modulation, I told we do the oversampling.
So by decreasing delta.
So now the thing is that as I was telling, so if we increase the step size or decrease the step size, there is a problem. So how to reduce these two things? That one is your overload.
Sir, are you presenting?
No. Actually, I am. Thing is that you cannot see the PPT, that PDF or PPT.
Okay,
The
sir.
thing is, basically, what I am doing, I am taking the class from my mobile. In my mobile, that nothing is there. There is a network issue in your net, as well as I try to connect through the hotspot, but there is a network issue. Okay. So what I am doing, I am taking from this your mobile. So as already we have seen the step, that figure where the slope overloading distortion is there and granular noise is there. That figure you remember, I hope. Okay, in the last when that there is a disconnected in the due to the network. So the thing is that if we increase the delta value, then granular slope overload distortion will reduce, but granular noise will increase. If we reduce the step size, granular noise will reduce, but slope overloading distortion will increase. So now how to remove that distortion? So the answer is that if we take the adaptivity of the your delta value, like your adaptive DPCM. In the adaptive DPCM, we have seen the value was changing. The delta step size was changing over there. So if we do the same thing for the delta modulation, that means whenever there is a huge height is there, in that case, step size will be more. When there is a small hike or uh, between two adjacent cells, in that case, we'll do the small delta value. If we do that, then definitely we can reduce both the noises. Yes or no?
So can you please repeat?
You see that we have seen if we increase the step size is longer, the delta value. If we increase the delta value, what is the problem? The problem is that slope overloading distortion it will reduce, but granular noise will increase. That is the problem if we increase the step size. Step size means delta value. Now, if we decrease the delta value, what is the problem? The slope overloading distortion will increase, but granular noise will decrease. That is the true thing. That means by doing increasing or decreasing the delta value, there will be a noise. Now the thing is that if we adapt some technique where both your delta value will increase whenever it is required, that means to remove the slope overloading distortion position, and if we reduce the step size where it is required, so if we reduce the step size, that means granular noise will reduce. So that technique is basically called the adaptive delta modulation. So in the adaptive delta modulation, what is there? We are increasing the step size when it is required. That means when the adjacent sample value is increased too much, in that case, we will take the step size higher. We'll reduce the step size when there is a small change between two consecutive or two adjacent samples. So in that way, we can avoid both the noises. One is the slope overload load distortion. Second is the granular noise. Is that clear? So this is the function of adaptive delta modulation. Is that clear?